Howdy, folks. This is Carlin Freiberger. I am a leadership specialist with the San Antonio Independent School District Gifted and Talented Department. Today, I wanted to talk to you about storytelling and how you can use storytelling to share your ideas with others and connect to them. So, everybody loves a good story. We connect to them, we feel emotions, we get sucked in. I remember when I was a little kid, I used to have stories told to me all the time, whether it was from a book or whether it was just somebody telling me a story. I got sucked in. So why? Why use a story to share your ideas? First of all, today in society, we are on information overload between social media and the availability of information through the internet. We have all kinds of things thrown at us on a daily basis. We have a competition going for our attention. The idea for using stories is that stories have power. They help us understand things and remember them, make it memorable. It helps us grab and maintain our attention. And it also, stories touch our emotions. They make us feel things. So when you evoke emotions from other people, they're more apt to remember it. And finally, it helps people relate to you and relate to your ideas. So you're building connections through the story. So what better idea than to promote change or promote your ideas with your own stories? Oops, sorry. All right, so how do you do this? Most important rule, folks, if you remember nothing else, be honest and authentic. Be real. You don't want to be the loudest one in the room because if they're talking so much that they're the loudest one, it means they're not going to say anything really memorable necessarily. Don't be the loudest one. Be the deepest one. Second, you don't want to copy something that someone already does or uses. You want to be real. Share what makes your idea unique and connect with your why. Why are you doing this? Why is this idea a good idea? What helped you come up with it? Because if you do all those things, you're real and you're connecting with why, it generates trust with your audience. Speaking of audience, the next thing we have to talk about is knowing your audience. Who is your audience? You need to make your story appropriate for that audience. The story that I would tell a bunch of executives would be different than the story I tell a bunch of kindergartners. So keep in mind who your story is for and make sure to play to that audience. Make it appropriate and connect with their values, what they value, what is important to them, and their interests. Next thing to think about is you need to know your purpose. Why are you telling this story? What is your message? Be clear about your intention. Are you telling this story to raise awareness? Are you telling it to promote change? Are you asking other people for help? Know your purpose and make sure it's embedded in that story somehow. And then know your method, know how you're going to do it, which brings us to the type of story you tell. There's two different types of stories. One is a vision story, and that is when you share the future, share a vision of the future. What does the future look like if your idea or your product is put into use? The second type of story is an impact story. It's a story about you or somebody you know really well. It's a real story and it connects to your idea. It might be the reason behind the idea. It might be the reason that you want to put forth this idea because something bad happened. If you build it up and you build some intrigue with it and you want people to solve a problem or something like that, that's where you bring in an impact story or a vision story. Share a problem, share your solution. And finally, end your story with a call to action. You want to keep it short, keep it 2 to 3 words. Subscribe now, or help now, or click here, or something like that. You want to use an action verb like click, help, subscribe, run, I don't know, read, something like that. Talk to others. You want to stay positive. You don't want to put forth a negative vibe after a feel good story or something that evoked emotions. You want people to feel like they can make a difference and that your call to action is going to move forward in a positive way. If you keep things negative, people are going to have kind of a sour taste in their mouth. Keep it positive. And finally, you need to share why they need to take this action. Is it to change the future for kids? Is it to get to know your neighbors? Is it to give others a voice? You need to decide on that call to action. Tell others, your audience, what that call to action is and tell them why. I hope I've helped you out a little bit on building a story that means something and can help promote your ideas. Take care.